There's something about a new decade on the horizon, like hitting 40, that just makes you pause. It kind of forces you to look back at where you've been and, way more importantly, figure out where you're headed. So today, we're going to walk through one creator's personal money milestones, a 9-step plan that's about way more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about building a life.
So, I've got a question for you. As you're looking at your next big birthday or life stage, what's your plan? Do you even have one? It's a huge question, I know. But the secret is just breaking it down into smaller, bite-sized pieces. And that's exactly what we're about to do.
Okay, first things first. Before you can even think about growing your wealth, you've got to build a solid foundation. These first couple of milestones, man, they are the absolute bedrock of financial security. They're the things you just can't skip because they protect you when life inevitably throws you a curveball. Milestone number 1 is a supersized emergency fund. And look, we're not just talking about the standard 3 to 6 months you always hear about. The goal here is a full 12 months of living expenses. Now, why so big? It's not just about the money. It's about mental freedom. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a full year-long cushion no matter what happens.
But let's be real, a 12-month goal can feel huge, almost impossible. So the trick is to break it down. Psychologically, it's just so much easier to hit these smaller targets. Seriously, just focus on saving your first $1,000, then the next, then shoot for $5,000. Each little win builds momentum, and suddenly that massive goal feels totally within reach.
All right, so once that safety net is in place, it's time to start building for the future. The second non-negotiable step is maxing out your Roth IRA every single year. Why? Because it lets your money grow, and then in retirement, you can pull it out completely tax-free. It's honestly one of the most powerful wealth-building tools out there.
But wait, you might say, what if I make too much money to contribute to a Roth IRA? Well, don't worry, there's a pretty neat workaround. It's called the Backdoor Roth IRA. All you do is contribute to a traditional IRA, and then you immediately convert it to a Roth. It's a totally legal strategy that high-income earners use to get access to all those amazing tax-free benefits. Okay, with our foundation totally secure, it's time to shift gears. We're moving from defense to offense. This next part is all about building your wealth engine. It's about making that gap between what you earn and what you spend as big as possible.
This quote from the millionaire next door just nails it, doesn't it? It captures the next big idea, avoiding lifestyle inflation. It's so tempting as you make more money to just spend more money. New car, bigger apartment, you know the drill. But the people who really build wealth, they fight that urge. They let their income grow while keeping their expenses pretty much the same.
And this chart shows it perfectly. Your entire goal is to maximize this delta, this space between your income and your expenses. That delta, that's your savings rate. That's the fuel for your investments, for everything you want to do. The wider you can make that delta, the faster you build wealth. Simple as that.
Now this slide is really interesting because it shows a huge risk. Look at this. When 95% of your income comes from one single source, wow, you are vulnerable. It doesn't matter if it's a job or your own business. If that one stream ever dries up, you're in some serious trouble. This just screams the need for diversification. So what do? Well, the next action step is pretty clear. Add at least one more source of income. And hey, it doesn't have to be some massive new venture. Even an extra $500 to $1,000 a month from a rental property or a small side gig makes a world of difference. It cuts down your risk and helps you widen that wealth-building delta even faster.
Okay, we've talked security, we've talked growth. Now let's look even further down the road. This section is about that long-term planning that protects not just you, but the people you love. It's the stuff we all tend to put off, but it's just so important. Nothing makes the need for estate planning feel more real than a personal story. When you actually have to go through settling a loved one's affairs, you see firsthand how much a clear, well-thought-out plan really matters. When things are messy or unclear, it just creates so much stress for your family at a time that's already incredibly difficult.
So what's actually in an estate plan? It's way more than just a will. It's a living will which outlines your medical wishes. It's a healthcare power of attorney, so someone you trust can make decisions for you. And it's having crystal clear instructions for your assets. The whole point is to make things as easy and painless as possible for the people you leave behind.
Another piece of this legacy puzzle is family. In a lot of cultures, there's this really powerful concept called filial piety. This idea that children have a duty and really an honor to care for their parents as they get older. And this isn't just a value, it's a financial milestone to plan for. You have to think about how you'll support them, whether it's financially or making sure they have a safe place to live.
We've been talking a lot about money, obviously. But real wealth, true wealth, isn't just about the number in your bank account. This next part is all about investing in the stuff that doesn't always have a clear ROI, but that massively boosts your quality of life.
Let's take the whole buy or rent a house debate. On paper, financially, you can often make the case that renting and just investing the difference is the smarter move, especially when interest rates are high. But a house is so much more than a financial asset, right? It's about the psychological wins, stability, having a place that's truly yours, a home base for your family.
And that really gets us to a critical point. Building wealth, growing that net worth, putting together a solid financial plan, all of that is fantastic. It's an incredibly powerful tool that buys you options and freedom.
But really, what good is all that money if you don't have the health to actually enjoy it? Investing in your health, your checkups, your exercise, what you eat, that is the single most important investment you can ever make. It is the ultimate form of wealth, because without it, none of the other stuff really matters. And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important section of all. All of these milestones we've talked about, the savings, the investing, all the planning, they're just tools. They need a purpose. They need a direction. They need what you might call a North Star. This quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? The real fear isn't failing financially. It's succeeding financially, but having no purpose. It's getting all the money goals right, but having no clue what you actually want your life to be about.
So, the final milestone is this. Define your North Star. What is your vision for the next chapter of your life? What do you want your days to look like? How do you really want to spend your time? That vision, that's what gives all this financial stuff its meaning. It's the guide that helps you use your money to build the life you actually want to live.
Because in the end, these money milestones are really just a map. They give you a clear path, they give you steps to take to build security and freedom, but the real question, the one that only you can answer, is this. Where do you want that map to take you? What's your destination?